All right, folks, I'm here with our next live episode from Raise Nation on the Talking Shizzle show. What's up, Mike? How are you?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here, awake and alive, all the good stuff.
It's always good. Every day that we are alive and awake and walking around on this planet, it's a good day.
Yeah, totally. And it's great to be in Nashville, one of my favorite cities.
Have you been here recently?
Oh, we do an event here every year. So I've been here twice a year for the past 10 years. So
Okay.
I love this town. I've seen it grow so much. This is a great town to have an event in. So if you're looking for a good place to have an event, this is definitely where I would go.
It's a cool space. Have you ever been here? We're at the Country Music Hall of Fame.
I went to the actual museum, and
Okay.
that was amazing. It's my first time in their event space, and it's just so cool. So, yeah.
I've never been in here before. I lived in Nashville for 1 year.
You did?
But it was like 20 plus years ago.
Okay.
And it's changed a lot.
Oh, a ton.
A ton.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I came back here in a while, it was about 5 years ago, and I was like,
"You're like,
I don't recognize anything.
Where did all these buildings come from?"
I was like, building.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so you're with the Human Rights Campaign.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the work you're doing right now at your organization, something that pops out to you, and then I want to get into events and rebuilding events.
Yeah. So at the Human Rights Campaign, one of the things we're most well known for is having a network of 3 million members that are committed to LGBTQ equality across the country. We really do mobilize these members in a lot of ways. One big way is fundraising, but we're a 501c4 based in Washington, D.C. So like this membership is really important to actually achieving our mission of like getting equality voters out there, getting the right people into the right positions in our government and move our issues forward. So it's really, really a great process to not only steward donors, but say, hey, you can do more. You can go and vote. And that's what we really need. So.
Yeah, not just about the transaction of fundraising.
Right.
Like there's so much beyond the money, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of our donors, they like to give time to us just as well. And we figure out like what time commitment they can give. And, honestly, our biggest board members and supporters are also my dear friends. I've worked with the organization for 11 years now, and it's just such a great place to work and get to see those friends every day and work with them. So.
And tell our audience about your role at the organization. What's your role?
Yes, I'm the Deputy Director of Events. I work on a team of 5, my director and 4 others. And we do 30 signature dinners across the country. So, almost every single city that across the country, we have an event. The events that I work on are our largest events that we usually do in each city. So they're a lot of work and a lot of mobilization, but we really position them to get the most out of it possible from a fundraising perspective, from an overall branding perspective. They are a platform to it. So.
Okay. And we were talking a little bit about, we know that there's still nonprofits coming back from COVID, still trying to figure out how do we get our events back to what they were. And I don't know if events are ever going to be exactly what they were, but it doesn't mean that there's no events, right? Events are back. What are some of the things that you guys have found successful in rebuilding your events? 30 events a year, that's a lot. So you must have learned a lot from that. I don't know how you sleep, to be honest. Events are a lot of work.
Trust me, when it's time for sleep, sleep comes. But when we're running in between all these things, just to be completely transparent, when we came back from COVID to relaunch a program with 30 events, and we're like, hey, what's the budget? We don't really know what that will be. So we did our best with that and learned a lot along the way. And really learned a lot about engaging folks and how to get the audience back. One of the biggest things that we learned is where, you'd ask somebody to either purchase a ticket or become a sponsor or donate to the auction like once or twice and usually be able to reach them. It's taking 3 to 5 asks to the same person. And that can be really tough. My work is to coach our volunteer committees across the country. These are wonderful people giving a lot of time, and they feel like they're hitting a brick wall. And I say, you know what? I promise you, if you just keep running towards that brick wall, one little brick will fall out and you'll find your way through. So that's the first thing, is persistence was always a thing. It is more of a thing post-COVID. and also really looking at our audiences and seeing like who we wanted in the room. You know, we took a huge step forward in diversity at our events. We did away with anything that implied exclusivity. You won't see a VIP reception at our event because if this is your first time coming to our event, you are a VIP. If this is an event that you've been intimidated coming to before, we don't want you to feel like you're allowed in some portions of the event and some portions you won't. You know, that's a really radical change for high-end fundraising, but it's gone really well. Now we're having folks that we've always wanted come to the event and they get to interact with folks that they've never met before. And we're seeing like people really form relationships organically in a way that is allowing our movement to go forward.
Yeah. Love stuff. Okay, the visual of one little brick out, really good. Like that a lot.
You had to run into the wall first.
You
Then you can
run into the wall.
pull it out.
You've got one of those big eggs on your head.
Yeah, totally.
But you pull it out one by one, and then you get through.
Exactly.
That's good. I might use that quote again later.
Cool.
The other thing I really like about what you said, and I haven't heard other people saying this, is like removing the VIP experience. I mean, that's really how you make everyone at the event truly equal in their experience.
Yeah.
I think it does. It sounds like a risky thing to do, but like it's good.
You know, it's so interesting because we're doing this through all of our fundraising lines, not just through like the VIP reception, but we won't sell sponsor exclusivity anymore because that is not inclusive. You know,
Yeah.
At companies across the country, there are employee resource groups, and they all want to get involved with us. But if I tell, you know, like an airline that American Airlines, our longest running corporate sponsor, has exclusivity, and you're not allowed in now,
Yeah.
that's not our work. You know,
Yeah.
It maybe was at one time, but today that's just not where we are.
Yeah.
So you have to really look at that and think about how are we doing these things so that everyone can get in.
Yeah.
Because if you're creating barriers for people to get into the work, then you're not only losing their engagement, you're losing their money. So.
Yeah. Okay. What's another barrier you broke? That's a good one. Let's go on this path of barriers that you're breaking down.
Yeah. So
Josh.
Hey, Josh, taking pictures over there.
That's what's fun about this live thing.
Yeah. Stuff just happens. Everybody be in the selfie with us. So.
Exactly.
So other barriers we broke down. We dropped the dress code. We were traditionally a black tie or a black tie optional event. And you know what? Like there was a time in our history where the LGBTQ plus community wanted a place that was safe for them to go and dress up and celebrate like that.
Yeah.
We can really appreciate that that's our history, but also point out the fact that, you know, again, getting folks into the room that maybe say, oh, the barrier is that I don't have black tie. Like, that's your barrier to coming to support our cause. Like, let's just get rid of it. We don't need it anymore. Yeah. If you want to wear like a full length gown with a train, if you want to wear a glittery tux, you're still allowed to do that. Yeah. But other folks who want to come and wear something different can come and express themselves. And it's just been amazing. I mean, I think there were a couple of friends. I was just in New Orleans who last minute decided to come. And he's like, I don't know if I have anything to wear. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you do. And I remember he starts sending me selfies of what he wants to wear. And he pulled together this outfit that looked great. And I said, maybe instead of like that button up, you go wear like a black t-shirt. And he said, I think I have a black t-shirt. And he put together an outfit that had like a pink triangle that says like silence equals death underneath of his really slick looking suit. And it was such a cool blend of like the marches we used to do in our movement with like where he was today. So
I love that. What did you wear at the last event?
Oh yeah, so I don't wear any more ties anymore. I wear tennis shoes because I'm running around, and I gotta tell you, it's so awesome because I get to go and do my job and feel good moving around doing it. So,
yeah, I know. I'm with you on that. I used to go to these events and like wear these stiletto heels. And then I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Now I buy the Skechers that kind of look cute. You know, and they're way more comfortable.
Yeah, totally. So,
all right, let's do one more barrier. So we broke down the barrier with like no more VIPs, no more, stringent dress code. What's another one?
Well, let's use this as like the bridge to the next topic, like audience rebuilding.
Yeah.
So let's talk about like people who have never been to the event before and you want them to buy a ticket. So first time purchasers. We were sort of like, what is it that is really keeping them out? And it's a common piece of feedback that I'm sure a lot of fundraisers will share. It's the price of a ticket. You know, like high dollar fundraisers have high dollar ticket prices. So what we did is we developed a response method that said, hey, if you are interested in attending this event for the first time, just fill out this form and tell us. We have a special price to offer you. And, you know, we thought about like having like a computer go through and scan and like spit out a code to them. And quite frankly, that seemed kind of complicated. So I said, let's just start simple. Let's let this like contact form land in my email box and my colleagues' email boxes. Let's then like do personal outreach to this person who has never been before and create this really high touch with them. So not only do you have a discounted ticket to the event, you know me, I'm the planner of the event, and I introduce them on the same email to the co-chairs of the event and some other people that are doing it. So to really say, hey, we're going to give you a price break, but more importantly, we're going to welcome you to come. And we're seeing a lot of success with that. It takes a lot of work, and I'm like, but it's creating these really high touch points so that folks are saying, hey, I am welcome at this event. And you know what? Like, I'm only going to get this discount once. I'm going to use it.
Yeah.
So.
Are you finding more people are coming back since you've started this strategy? Like with newcomers, they're more likely to come back?
So we're seeing a lot of conversions from folks at lower giving levels, which is really awesome. So these are folks that are probably in monthly sustainer programs that range from $10 to $25 a month. So these are folks, when I go and look at their donor history to see if they've ever attended, they've been donors for like 8 to 10 years at this level. And they've just never felt like they could join us in a ball. And so then when you extend this personal invitation to them and say, hey, you really can come, and like, I'm the busiest person there, I would actually like to come and give you a hug and say welcome.
Yeah.
They're coming, and it's working so well. So,
hi.
And we also are seeing like the holy grail of like conversions, which is how do you convert free sponsor guests into paid ticket purchasers? We actually see quite a few of folks who attended as a corporate sponsor who are interested in coming back, but maybe they're not sure if their company's going to sponsor again. Maybe they've just decided they want to go, and they request these first time discounts, and then they get converted from a ticket that was free to a sponsor to a paid ticket purchase.
Yeah.
So we get to move them from this like sort of bucket that's sort of difficult to access into our donor structure that works really well. So.
Okay. Let me repeat a couple of things there because I think this is some gold stuff too. First off, yeah, high touch personal outreach. It is hard, but guess what? It works.
Absolutely.
Okay, like that's life, right? Good things are hard. So I like the example of you saying that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I was on my laptop just now before this session, like, and I got one of those little forms. I'm like, oh, I have to get back to this person. I'm like, but you know what? If I do it right now, I'm like, the chance that I'm actually going to have success with that person goes way up. So
totally, exactly, because you're responsive, you're welcoming. It's clear that it's a personal invitation from you.
Yep.
And like that stuff really, really works. I was at an event last night and someone was laughing about how, you know, like we were talking about, pick up the phone and call a donor. And some new people sometimes call a donor.
I know. Whenever we get a new events assistant or a new intern, I'm like, hey, so can you call them? And they're like, well, I emailed them and they didn't get back to me. And I'm like, so I'm going to email them again. I'm like, that's not going to work.
That's not a call. Exactly. That's not going to work. Sometimes, like, we still want to connect. Yeah. You know, totally. I don't think that like every single part of fundraising, marketing, and relationship building in the long term can be automated. Automation is great.
Yep.
There's probably a lot of automation that you guys use.
Absolutely.
Right? But there's also that personal touch point. Like that's what rebuilds relationships. So when you're thinking about rebuilding audience after COVID, it's part of it probably was rebuilding relationships because people sort of drew away with COVID, you know, and you know, we all were scared.
Yeah.
So was there another thing that you guys did that really stuck out in terms of like rebuilding audience, rebuilding relationships?
Yeah. So there was an idea that we came up with that was a wild success. I'm just going to be honest, we don't even market it at all. We created a new price point called the small group discount, which I know sounds simple in theory, but when you think about when someone's going to purchase a ticket to your event, they're probably purchasing it as a single ticket or as a pair, like a single or a couple. Like, what if we wanted this single person or this couple to bring a friend with them? Like if you offer a price point where they get a discount where they're encouraged to purchase 3 or more tickets, then we've found that they do. Like they just purchase an additional ticket to the event, and then they invite a friend. I think some of these people are like coordinating with each other to come up with little groups of people. Like the table host or table captain model is great. That's 10 tickets. For some people, that threshold is really scary. But when you break it down to a smaller amount, like a 3 or more, folks are really going for it. So, we're seeing about 50% of our individual ticket sales are in this small group discount. So,
okay, cool. All right. Mike, to close us out, what's something that you're looking forward to learning or talking to people about at Raise? Like, what's something on your mind that you're trying to still get some answers on?
Yeah, so I can talk really intelligently about trends at the Human Rights Campaign. What I love about Raise is I get to hear about trends everywhere else. And I can say, okay, we're trending exactly like that. Or that's not at all the way we're trending. Like, that's a success point that I want to try and reach and I want to hear about it. So, it's just great to hear all these great sessions, connect with all these other attendees and hear what they're doing and hear what's working and hear what's not. Sometimes we're all frustrated about the same thing and we may not have the answer, but we get to talk about it a little bit, which feels good. And then out of that, there are some really big success stories that I get to take home and really, really implement. So
cool. And how do people get involved with one of your events or find an event in their area?
Yeah, real easy. hrc.org/events. You'll see every single thing that we have on offer. So
okay. And Mike might even email you.
I might.
He might even email you. It's either one.
Ask for a first-time discount. You'll get an email from me.
All right. So, I like it. Cool. Well, hey.
Nice to meet you. Did you hug on camera too? Yay. I love that.
Thanks for talking some shizzle today. Seriously, thank you. I think it's really good to be able to give people content like this where this is what we're doing and this is what's working.
Super.
So thank you.
I'm glad we made it work.
Me too. All right. We'll see you next time on a new Talking Shizzle.
All right. Bye.
All right, we are here with another Talking Shizzle episode live from Raise. I'm digging this live thing. Are you digging it?
I am digging the live thing. It's phenomenal because it's a way to connect with everyone in the virtual space in real time and provide an opportunity for them to feel some of the energy that we're feeling real time at Raise Conference, right?
Totally. And we were just talking with Joey over there about the female energy. So
yeah,
here we go.
High five to the female energy. It is permeating in this space, literally. Yeah, it's a good time.
So tell me a little bit about yourself. What you do, why you're at Raise.
So LaShonda Williams is my name, and I'm very excited. I'm a fundraising industry professional. I started off as a volunteer with my alma mater's National Alumni Association, and I was a chapter president and a vice president and on the national membership board, and always working in education, which is my area of expertise. I just really love service learning. And currently I'm full-time employed with South Texas College of Law as the director of the annual giving program, as well as the alumni engagement piece. But I also am partnered with my lovely friends at the Fundraising Academy that is hosted at National University. And with them, we provide a variety of training. And literally last month, I just celebrated my 1-year anniversary with NU in providing training for fundraising professionals. So it's been absolutely amazing.
Okay, exciting. Let's get into what you guys train on.
So we provide a variety of training on the cost selling cycle. So with National University's Fundraising Academy, we have 8 areas of the fundraising cycle. We break everything down from pre-approach, which is like the prospect researching aspect, all the way through to stewardship. Because as we know, when garnering philanthropic support, there are specific moves that need to be made with building relationships. And so we take a step-by-step approach and provide those that are interested in learning more about fundraising, whether you're new or you're wanting a refresher, about how to actively engage your donors in meaningful ways and also smart ways, most importantly. And with that training in each of the modules, we have specific sessions that equip you with essential best practices, but most importantly, teaching you how to sell your cause in real time.
Okay, so smart ways. Let's get into that.
Yes.
What do you mean by that? Like,
So-
give me an example of a traditional way of fundraising and a smarter way. How you incorporate that into your training.
So we incorporate smart ways into the training because we're very practical. In many instances, people think about nonprofit, right? And you automatically think, okay, it's a cause, which is great, but nonprofit is a status. However, we're all working in the philanthropic space and it is a business. So we're teaching you based on the Stanford business model of how to apply business strategies to your nonprofit organization to become more effective, more efficient. Oftentimes, because we work in a space that is mission-based and passion-based, we sometimes may lose sight of the business aspect of it. And that's where we come into place with providing you with equipment or tools, should I say, resources to help you think about things from a business perspective. Because, fundraising is about head and heart, but we want you to focus also on the head aspect. And that means making smart decisions, thinking about your pre-approach, how you're gathering information about your prospective organizational clients and or donors, and how we're engaging them in meaningful ways that are curtailed to them. What are their specific motivations, knowing what their motivational styles are, understanding what type of person, what are their social style preferences. A part of building a successful relationship with anyone is creating the opportunity to engage them in an authentic space. And we do that by providing training that talks about the various social styles, that talk specifically about how to facilitate questioning in a meaningful way, open-ended versus closed-ended questions, and how those subsequent follow-ups are important. But most importantly, in this industry, listening skills are very important. So we hone in on all of those essential skills that help you become more effective in your space.
Love that you said it's just a status.
It's just, nonprofit is just a status. Just a status, yeah.
It's like I have an S corp,
Yeah.
and a nonprofit is a nonprofit.
It's an exemption status, but we're operating businesses.
Exactly, and I think that's something that's not talked about often enough.
Exactly.
And I actually think it's okay and it's good to say our mission is our product.
It absolutely is.
Feeding hungry people is our product. Clothing people is our product. Rescuing dogs is our product. It's a product and it's a business.
It is an absolute business, which is why we have the cause selling cycle. Yeah. And so it's a way to sell your cause. And many people say, well, they kind of toy with selling. It's selling from the standpoint of you're providing compelling stories that secure impactful gifts that ultimately support your mission. So when you're telling stories about the organization's mission, its goals, its objectives, the history and the impact, you're actually selling your cause. Hence the cause selling cycle and going through the process of how to secure large gifts, as well as we also talk a little bit about, ways to engage current space with smart digital fundraising, because the world that we live in is ever changing. And there are a variety of different ways in which you can secure subsequent gifts. You may have an event, and for us that are an event fundraising business, everyone who is present is a prospective donor, whether they purchase a table or if they're an attendee. But there's a way that you can convey your message to them and to draw them in closer to organization. And we talk about ways to follow up accordingly when you're securing gifts through event fundraising, and how to increase your donor base with those that are attendees and keeping them engaged.
Okay, so tell me something that people walk away with from the cause selling methodology.
So
maybe they're not expecting.
So what you walk away with at the end of each of the cause selling cycle programs or channels, we also offer monthly webinars, is with practical tools that you can use immediately. We infuse real world situations because our trainers are industry professionals currently, and they're sharing their knowledge based on things that they've actually done. And then you're also walking away with resources that will equip you. So for example, I mentioned earlier, with the line of questioning as you're participating in pre-approach and prospect researching. We provide you with some sample questions, how to deliver open-ended questions. We provide you with a tip sheet on strategy specifically. And in many of our sessions, we actually walk you through that process, and you have the opportunity to engage with some of your participants, through polls, through breakout sessions for those that opt to have a cohort. But in addition to that, if you have subsequent questions, we also have an online portal that offers a plethora of content that supports the cause selling cycle that is free and available to you. So you have an open resource, throughout your relationship with the Fundraising Academy, as you are increasing your skill set as a development professional.
Okay. And LaShonda, you've been there a year now.
Yes, it's been.
Congratulations on your
Thank
anniversary. Tell us one thing that you love about your job.
The one thing, and it's hard to pick one, the one thing that I love most about working with the Fundraising Academy, I will summarize with one word, and it is cultivate. We just recently hosted our first conference, Cultivate, in which we emphasized the cultivation of impact, relationships, and just creating that synergy. And I've cultivated, in my opinion, some phenomenal relationships by equipping those that are in the industry with essential tools to further their cause. And I've been able to be a part of something that is so much greater than me, so much broader. And Fundraising Academy allows us to connect with people throughout the world because, we have the online portal, because the webinars are, webinars. So, recently working with a group of those that are in the Australia group, our first Fundraise for Australia group, that was one of the cohorts that I had the honor of working with and cultivating relationships through a 10-week session. So the one word is cultivate, because we are immersed in our work and we're very passionate about making sure that fundraising professionals have the tools they need to be successful.
That's a good name for a conference too, Cultivate.
I know, right?
Conference?
Yes.
I want to go to that.
Yes.
How do we go to that?
So we're looking forward to, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be having another one in 2024. We have not finalized the dates yet, but those that did have the opportunity to attend, we received amazing feedback and comparable to yours, to Raise with the sellout. We definitely marked the high bar last year. We had over 12 sessions. It was very intense day, and it was very impactful. We talked about a variety of things ranging from, event fundraising to strategy, being able to plan effectively, which is very important. And, that ROI that Jared mentioned earlier in her session today at Raise. So it provides a wealth of information for everyone, no matter what your role is in the fundraising space, whether you are on the advancement services side or your frontline. There's something for everyone with Fundraising Academy.
Awesome. Well, LaShonda, thank you for coming on Talking Shizzle here live.
Thank you.
Sometimes I don't know where to look. There's a lot going on.
There is a lot going on
behind
here.
The cameras, all the people walking by us the whole time, and
yeah,
Jarrett right now taking a picture of us.
Gotta love it. And this is Raise 2023, and okay. And we're at Raise 2023 having a great time. Thank you, Taylor, for having me. It's amazing. The feminine energy is serious. Yes, we definitely got it. It's alive and well. Yeah, I'm very excited. So yeah, I'm excited. And then I get to cultivate a new relationship again at the conference. So there you have it.
And now I want to come to your conference.
Exactly. And I'm definitely, exactly. As soon as we have everything finalized, we'll be putting it out there in the universe. So absolutely excited. And thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks. All right. We'll see you on the next one.
See you on the next one.
All right. So I'm here with Emily Newberry live from the Raise conference today in Nashville. What's with Nashville?
Yes, we're so excited to be here and to see everybody here. It's going to be a great conference.
Oh yeah, I'm super pumped. I love the Raise conference. I think this is my 4th Raise conference.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well, you're like a veteran.
I am.
Yeah, you're a veteran.
I've been around the block at Raise and Nashville a little bit, but it's been a little while.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're on the Talking Shizzle show today, live at Raise with Emily from OneCause. Emily, just tell us a little bit about what you do and what your life is like at OneCause.
Yeah. So I've been at OneCause for 12 years, such a long time. So I've gone through.
You're a lifer.
I'm a lifer. I'm a veteran OneCauser. You're a veteran raiser. That's a thing. We just made a new verb.
I think so.
And
veteran raiser.
Yeah, veteran raiser. I currently am our VP of National Accounts, and what that really means is that I work with the organizations that are pretty large. Generally, when you think of national organizations, you're going to think of those types of organizations, and they're layered, they're complex, They're generally making some pretty significant purchases for the organization and thinking about a lot of different data needs and integration needs. And so my team works specifically with them to see if there's alignment between our two organizations. And if there is alignment, we bring them on board and we see them all the way through the execution of their, 3 to 5 year fundraising strategy on our fundraising platform.
Awesome. Yeah, that's putting a lot of pieces together when you're working with those types of organizations.
Yes.
Like chapters or
There's a lot of
affiliates.
exactly.
There's a lot of
the
intricacies
federated
there.
model, right?
Yeah.
That is very different. And so we're assessing the needs of a federated model because the relationship between the affiliates and the chapters and the national office are very different versus like a, centralized national organization, which is like sometimes a little bit easier, but there's a lot of different layers and stakeholders within organizations like that have very different needs too and are looking at OneCause to provide solutions for those needs. But it's a challenge and it's so much fun.
Yeah.
We do something different every single day, and that's what I love about it.
I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah. That's like when you've got a job like that where you can mix it up.
I kind of know the structure of the day. You're going to wake up and be like, what is today going to bring me and how are we going to do this? And
Yeah.
we've got a small, I would say, but mighty national team here at OneCause, and we all jump in and do what needs to get done. It's so much fun.
You're
We have a great time.
solver.
Yes,
A connector.
100%.
Connector.
Problem solver.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's talk about Raise
Okay.
and this conference and what kind of problems people can learn how to solve here at this conference. You've been to 7 raises, right?
7 raises, yeah,
7?
since its inception in DC. Yes, in 2017. Is that my math right? Yeah,
Okay. Tell
2017.
me a little bit about the history of Raise. Like, how did this even get started?
So
And how did it end up here?
Yeah, I mean, like
This
it's
year.
grown exponentially. It's huge. It's so fantastic to see all the people here. But so Raise, I think it was 2015, 2016, the marketing team and OneCause, we started to think about that. Like, what would a conference, what are people lacking in terms of real content in our space? And it really was, it started as like an event fundraising conference. I mean, that was like our coined term for a long time, like Raise the event fundraising conference, because people knew, there's a lot of conferences around like campaigns and engagement and long-term strategy and things, but like people were executing their events in real time. And there wasn't anything that, content out there that was giving them those like practical application like content. And so that's kind of how Raise was born. And it was a very small conference in 2017. It was, it was 100 people or 120 people, which, relative to today is small, maybe not in general, but, and it was fantastic. And I think what was always very different, I, in my role, I go to a lot of different conferences held by, industry partners, all of them. I mean, the big conferences I'm generally at. What I love about Raise today as a fairly large conference, but how it started when it was young and small, is that the connectivity here at Raise, the way that people are able to foster relationships, make new relationships, build community, I think has always been very different. It's like, this feels very much like a big reunion for a lot of people. Some other conferences do that too. But I think the way that we give people opportunities to feel that and make that connection is like really, really different. And like we felt that the very first Raise conference, 120 people, we're all in one room, right? So it's like all one room. We don't even have session rooms. It's just all in one room.
Yeah.
And people were starting to, like build and make those relationships and learn from one another, like right in front of our eyes. And I think that's what's really special is that you can go to conferences and you can go to the sessions and the speakers are wonderful, but sometimes you get the best advice, the best, like things that you're going to take back to the office and put into day to day from like conversations in the hallway or conversations over lunch or conversations at like, the party tonight, things like that. And I think we do a really good job of making people feel welcome and that they can like share those experiences with other people. I love it. Like I walk around people and I'm just like, oh, they're having a good conversation and they're having a good conversation.
Yeah. No, it totally feels like a reunion. In
Yeah.
fact, I remember, so I did not go to the first Raise. I went to the second.
In
So there were
Chicago.
maybe
Yeah, the first
in
Chicago.
Yep.
Yep.
Maybe 200-300 people at that one.
I'd say 250.
Yeah.
max.
So it was still pretty small.
Yep.
But I do remember coming away and thinking, after going to a lot of large industry conferences all the time, the icons of the world, things like that, and then walking away from Raise and thinking, it's nice, like I actually met people
Yes.
there because it was small enough to really talk.
Yeah.
And
To have like a meaningful conversation instead of just a hey,
Yeah.
let's chat after all of this.
Yeah.
Right. Which is happens a lot.
So I think there's a lot to be said. Let's get into this. Let's get into community. I think there's a lot to be said for the big event where you go. I just went to HubSpot's Inbound last week in Boston. 20,000 people conference, giant.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming. There's like no breaks between sessions, and I'm trying to go and get and listen and learn as much as I can. And it's great because you see some of the big trailblazing things.
Yeah.
Then you follow it up with something like this, and I'm like, oh, and I walk in, like you said, a reunion. Oh, hey, Taylor. Oh, hey, Taylor. Oh, hey,
Yes.
Taylor. You know, oh, yeah. Oh, Steve, what's up? You know, Parrish. Hey, haven't seen you in a while. You know, and so there is that community. What do you think are some of the things that you guys at OneCause and the Raise Conference Committee did that was effective in building that community? Like, let's get into the tactics of making that community happen.
Yeah. So before we even get into that, I think we have to take a step back and think about part of it comes from the way in which OneCause works with organizations of all different sizes. And so we are not a software provider for just large, complex organizations like my team works with, right? We're talking, we support grassroots organizations, volunteer-based organizations, just like really just any size and scope. And I think that is kind of what builds some of that community here at Raise. Because what happens is you get, all of these people together, right? Like mixed demographics in terms of the nonprofit space. And we provide a lot of downtime. So there is time between sessions. We do have the Fearless Fundraiser Party tonight, right? We build out the affinity groups and things at lunch. There's a lot of time where people can actually engage. And I think what's really special is that you've got people that have been in the fundraising space for decades, right? And then you've got people that are working for some of these small organizations that are right out of school, and we mix all of those people together and they learn from one another. And you might think it's so fun. I listen to these conversations all the time and it's fascinating to me. I think we make the assumption that, these giant organizations are the ones that pass down their wisdom all the time. Like every time it's going in that direction. But we often find, and some of my even national customers will tell me, we learn so much from some of the smaller organizations that are there because they're lean, because they don't have so much red tape to get through. They're able to execute their plans really fast. They're able to pivot very fast because they're nimble, right? And so they're able to like try these things, like do a lot of A/B testing, and a lot of those conversations are happening. But I think it's also, like I said, it's because of the community in which nonprofit software supports. And those are the people that are coming to Raise, right? So we kind of, and I think that is really the relationships built between different size organizations, different types of organizations. And I think that's really where it stems from. But yeah, the marketing team, they do a great job of making sure that there's a ton of time. You don't feel super rushed, I think, at this conference. Like you can sit here in this, what do we call it, lobby area, and have some
foyer,
the grand foyer, the event
foyer,
have some really great conversations.
Yeah.
And I love that.
No, I agree. Yeah, it's not good when you're rushing from thing to thing.
No,
I feel like you're missing out. Maybe some of the big conferences do that on purpose, like FOMO. I don't know.
Right.
But that's a very good point. The people who are like, I don't know, maybe this is a community of people that are in the trenches of fundraising, day in and day out.
Yes, they are living it and breathing it,
and just like when you can come together and say like, I'm doing this, it's not working. What have you tried this? That is working.
Yeah,
and you can have a small enough group to have those conversations. I think you do take more tangible stuff away, and then you feel like you can go home and actually implement, and it wasn't all like high in
theory.
The sky. Oh, theory.
Like theory. Like theoretically, we do all of these things.
It will work.
Yes. Here's my 5-step plan of how I did that thing, and here were the results. And as long as you have A, B, C, and D, you can do these things too. Theory, strategy, all of those things are good, and we do have a good mix of that here too. But it's also I think we do a really good job of making sure we bring content that breaks it all down, so that you get back to your desk the next day and you can start to implement the tools that you learned about here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it.
Yeah. You gotta start with a little food. I'm like, get into the weeds. I think
so. Actually, one of the speakers, Mallory Erickson, this morning kind of talked about that. And she said, part of, she's got her consulting firm. And one of the things that she does a lot in her executive coaching and consulting is to say, hey, you can't just like prospect and you can't create the plans forever. At some point in time, you actually have to execute the plan, but executing the plan is the scary part.
Yeah.
Right. You want a plan. You want to be like, oh, I'm going to do all of these amazing things. And here's my prospect list. And here's all of my stuff. And look at all of these amazing things I'm going to do. But eventually you have to say, okay, I have to stop the planning process. And I'm actually going to do the things, but doing the things is scary.
Yeah.
And so when we can break that down in sessions here at Raise to be like, it doesn't have to be scary. Hey, look, just do, make it simple. Don't overcomplicate things. Don't over-engineer things. Do these things when you get back and you're likely to have these results. That just seems like, okay, like I can do that. I don't have to like climb this enormous mountain. I can just like kind of slowly walk the hill.
Yeah. I often tell people like, don't try to boil the ocean.
Yes. That's a great one.
Gonna happen.
Yes. Not gonna happen. Stop
Never
trying.
gonna happen. Like, take a few bubbles, float on those bubbles.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's awesome. That's a great thing.
Okay, so let's see what else. Give me a moment. What's something that you're really excited about learning about yourself? Maybe a topic or something you're kind of expecting to maybe learn about this year.
Yeah, that's a great one. I think because of the role I'm in, I am really interested in how organizations, just in general, can better like use the resources that they already have. So we talk a lot about like, okay, what other things, like what other assets can we have, and right, like what are the things that I can bring to the table? Like organizations have a lot, and I want to lean into how do they like data, for example. You've got a lot of data, and so are we using the data that we already have to create our plans and to execute the plans and to realize and reach our goals? And so sometimes I think that those things are missed. So we do have some sessions here that talk about that. And so I'm definitely going to pop into those. And then, I mean, this is maybe like cliche, but like AI, like I want to get into that. I want to dig in further. I want to know what organizations think about it. Just in general, is that a space that they want to get into? If they do, how would they do it? How could we help them do it? Right. So like AI to some people is very scary, and to other people, they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And why are we just now encountering this now? Like, how do we do this fast? How do we bring AI into the organization, into some of our tools? And so I want to kind of understand and unpack like the competing views too. So we're going to get into some of that with some of our CAB members today.
Yeah. Okay.
Over lunch. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll check that one out. Out of curiosity, how many organizations are coming to you and asking you about AI?
Depends on the question. If they're asking us, hey, are you going to bring in AI? No, I'd say like not many. I would say of the ones that I work with and talk to, right, like 10 to 15%. So not too many. We do also have another set that are like, hey, our risk management teams are trying to get ahead of some things and like, hey, are you going to bring in AI? Because like if you've been thinking about this for the future, we just need to get ahead of this, and we've got to bring in our risk teams, we got to bring in our IT teams, we've got to bring in all of our legal teams to really understand what this means for us as an organization. So there's another group that's like 5% or so that are kind of like, that's like the group that's like, I kind of like AI and I like the idea of that, but that's a little too scary, and I don't know if we can handle that just now.
Okay.
So not enough, but
Not enough.
is like,
Yeah.
like you see that 10 to 15%. Again, I'm only representing my customer, right? But
Yeah.
not enough.
You're working with the larger organizations.
The larger
So I was
organizations.
curious to get a pulse of how many are starting to ask you.
Yeah.
about
I would
AI
say more often
solutions.
we bring it up to them
Yeah.
to say, hey,
Yeah.
this is the direction
Okay.
that we should think about.
Yeah.
And how do you just feel about that? And then in what applications and how frequently and how far can we go as a team? And what makes sense? Is there alignment here,
Yeah.
essentially?
Yeah. I don't think I'm surprised by that. I think a lot of people, even at the large organizations, are still trying to wrap their head around it. And that's okay.
Yeah, that's
I
okay.
think that's normal. I think that's normal right now.
Yeah.
I
What
think,
does it mean? And
yeah.
AI can represent so many different things
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So it's like we had to break down AI. Maybe we can get-
What is it?
Yeah,
Exactly.
like well, I get people out, and I'm like, well, it depends. If we're talking about this, or that, you know what I mean? It is a lot. And
Yeah.
even at the national organizations, we're all there's fundraisers. It doesn't mean like they're still in the thick of it too.
Yeah.
It's not like they have like all of this time to think about like, okay, here's my 8-year long, strategy.
Like try to
Here's
become data scientists
No,
on their,
no.
On their side hustle,
Right.
Learning or
right.
something.
Like it's a time thing. It's a resource thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I say that. I think I want to normalize for people that it's normal.
Yeah.
If you don't have all the answers on this yet, it's okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna,
I don't know.
you're
It's
gonna
a
be
perfectly
fine.
acceptable answer.
It's gonna be fine. I don't know is a great answer.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Emily, close us out. Any final tips for Raise or just for fundraisers out there today and the year 2023?
I just think it's going to be wild. I think that in the most amazing way. I think that organizations are just getting really smart and are becoming way more proactive and are becoming more skilled at using the tools that they have. And I think that's just a really exciting space for us all to be in. So I just can't wait to see what they do. And for Raise, I mean, if you're here, I hope you enjoy. And for all of those that weren't able to attend, because we did sell out this year, like it is a fantastic conference. And so we don't have the location next year announced yet, but we will soon. And tickets will go on sale in November. And so you should keep a watch on it. Yeah.
All right, get that early bird.
Get the early bird discount.
Early bird. Get on it.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me,
Thank
Taylor.
you. Hey,
It's
this
so
is
much fun. So
I like
fun.
doing Talking Shizzle
Yes.
live.
I know.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Well, hey, thanks everyone for joining us on this latest live from Raise Nation. Yeah, Raise Nation. The latest episode of Talking Shizzle with Emily.
Thanks.
See you next time.